What's going on, everyone? And thank you for tuning in to this week's podcast of the Remote Control. Yeah, I guess that's what it's called. This is a podcast where a couple of nerds geek out about movies, TV, video games, music, and more. What was that?
Jesus Christ, Vietnam's happening on a guest slide.
I think it was my volume on my headphones. I went to go turn it up. Sorry.
God, the bombs are dropping. I just hear black and white, and I see some grainy film video, and fucking bombs are happening, and just Rachel's in the background.
I'm sorry. You know,
We're not redoing this intro.
No,
this is fucking.
So on this week's episode, we're going to be talking about the CW Arrowverse and the premieres of all the shows last week. Unfortunately, we're also going to say goodbye to one of my favorite shows and probably one of the most underrated shows of the past 4 years, Halt and Catch Fire.
It's so
Then we're going to check out some trailers. We're going to check out some trailers for Black Panther, for New Mutants. We're also going to go to a galaxy far, far away with the new trailer for The Last Jedi. And finally, we're going to get into the heart of this episode. And it's simply just one question. Is comic book source material really that important when it comes to film adaptations? And that's going to be our main point of the show here. Now, with me today, now I'm Robert Slavinsky, and with me today, as always, is Mr. Finger Guns himself, Colton Bird.
Coming out the finger gun, yo, bitch.
and then we have a special guest with us, Rachel Kasperick.
Oh, that was a bad idea.
What?
Sorry, no, I put reds in my screwdriver. It was a bad idea.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, before we really get started and everything, I do want to remind everyone that you can find us on our website at www.theremotecontrol.com. That's the remote, CNTRL.com. You can also find us on almost all podcast platforms. So iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Google Play Music, all that kind of stuff. You can find us. You can subscribe to us and find us on YouTube. We're doing some cool things with YouTube. We had a live show last week for the Star Wars trailer, which was a lot of fun.
Turnout.
And we had a big turnout watching us and interacting with us, which was a lot of fun. You can also find us on Facebook, which is very important in our next thing we're going to talk about here. You can find us on Facebook in our Facebook group. You can also follow us on Twitter at The Remote Control. That's at The Remote CONTRL. All of that will be in the description to find us there. Now, one last thing before we start getting into TV shows and stuff like that. Colton, I hear you have some fun news for everyone that tunes in. So what's going on?
Well, everybody hold on to your panties because we're going in.
Hold on to your butts.
Starting this week and leading up to November 12th, we'll be having a contest to give away a Superman pop figure from the upcoming Justice League movie. The rules are simple. All you have to do is subscribe and leave a review on our show on either iTunes or Podbean, as well as joining the Facebook group. Link will be in the description. Then on November 14th, then on our November 14th podcast, we will randomly select someone from the entries and announce a winner of our show. We hope to see you all enter the chance to win.
All right, guys, this is really cool. This is our first giveaway we're doing, and the whole idea behind this is we want to get more recognition on iTunes and Podbean and in the podcast community. So that's why, one, we ask for you to subscribe. Two, we ask for you to leave a review of the show. Just leave us a review, whether you like it or hate it. Leave a review. You'll be entered in for the chance to win, as well as join our Facebook group. We will be looking at as much of that as we possibly can. If you leave a review,
oh God, the bombs are falling again.
We're going to look for you.
I'm sorry.
So once we find you on our Facebook group and everything like that, you will be entered in to win that. And I know some people have different iTunes names than they do Facebook names. So whenever you join the Facebook group, just say a hello message, say, hey, subscribe to your channel, left a review on iTunes or on Podbean, and leave your name that you left on that service. That way we know who you are. We'll then throw your name into the entries to get the awesome Justice League Superman pop figure, which I think is really cool, which I'm kind of jealous because I really, really want now, and I wish we weren't giving it away.
Yeah. Are we going to assign numbers and just do like a random number generator thing? Or
we'll probably write the names down and throw them in a hat and select them that way.
That's so lame. There's actually a generator online that you can do, and you can set it up to whenever they subscribe to all of the things, and you can link the Facebook, the iTunes, and everything to it, and then it randomly does it, I believe.
Okay, that's
how a lot of YouTubers do it when they do their giveaways.
Okay.
Well, good thing we're not YouTubers.
Yeah.
So, Bob,
We'll look into that.
We can do this. We can put all the names in a hat. And then pull all the names out of the hat, and the last one we pull out wins the thing.
My God.
1,000 subscribers. We'll be sitting here for 2 hours pulling names.
At that point, we can just do it live.
Oh, geez.
Doubt we're gonna get 1,000 subscribers, but whoever is listening, I hope you do enter in. Again, it's a free pop figure Justice League. So we're gonna announce the winner the Tuesday prior to the Justice League film coming out. So a lot of fun, and then we're going to have another giveaway shortly thereafter that as well, which is real exciting, which we'll talk about at that point in time.
Because at this point in time, we don't know what it looks like. We just know what it is.
Yeah. Okay, so on to the fun stuff of the day. TV. So last week, a whole bunch of TV came out. Again, more premieres and stuff like that.
Vizio, Samsung, Westinghouse.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah. So Supergirl, Flash, Legends, and Arrow all had their premiere last week. Now, I know Rachel and Colton, neither of you watch these shows because you both are losers. However,
I'm busy.
However, I do say it was probably better that you did not watch these premieres because they were not very good at all. Supergirl, we saw emo Supergirl in the first episode, which I thought was really...
Is that bad though?
It was just tough to watch. It was not a good premiere. The Flash was probably the most disappointing opener out of their 4 seasons that we've had. And Legends of Tomorrow was not terrible, but it wasn't great. I wish it was a bit better. Arrow actually had the best premiere, but it also had the best finale last year, so it kind of makes sense that the premiere is just as good. I also like how they're transitioning and going to where the flashbacks used to be over the past 5 years. They changed it to where the flashbacks are now going to be over the past 5 months that we didn't see between the seasons. So I think that's kind of cool. I like that idea. The Flash, I was upset that Barry Allen came back too fast. Again, this is all spoilers if you haven't watched the shows yet.
Well, thanks a lot.
But Barry comes back from the Speed Force almost within the first 10 minutes of the show. And he's crazy Barry for a little while. He's like a beautiful mind Barry, but he makes no sense. He's just writing shit on the wall, like different things.
Oh my God, so he's me.
And and it's kind of annoying. Like, I truly would have loved to have seen Wally West take on the mantle of the Flash for like 2 or 3 episodes. I think that would have been really cool to do. Now, who knows what the overarching story is going to be through the entire season, but I would have liked to have seen no Barry for a while and see the team and everybody like really have to deal with that. We didn't see that. Last season ended with him walking into the Speed Force. This season pretty much starts with him walking out of the Speed Force. Well, not walking out, but he comes out of the Speed Force within 10 minutes. So we didn't get any time without Barry on the show. So we have no idea what people were feeling. It's just, I think they dropped the ball and missed an opportunity here. And I really like the guy who plays Wally West. I think he's an excellent actor. I would like to have seen him kind of take on the role of the Flash fully for the first couple episodes. That was disappointing. Like I said, Supergirl, we had emo Supergirl. It was kind of annoying, especially after all of the emo Flash stuff from last season. It's surprising that the same writers are going to go and make emo Supergirl. So what do you want to say, Colton?
So what's the intro song to her thing?
He doesn't have an intro song.
No, I meant music. That's what I meant. Like the intro to this.
Yeah, but there's no like words to it.
No, I meant like so they didn't play Welcome to the Black Parade.
No.
I was thinking more Hawthorne Heights.
Ohio.
Iris and black my eyes.
Now, Legends of Tomorrow ended last season where they like crash landed in like Central City or LA or something like that in like the year 2019 or something, or 2017. There were dinosaurs roaming around. Made no freaking sense.
Wait, 2017?
Yeah, it was weird.
Wait, that's this year though.
Yeah, I know. It was weird.
It's
the show.
Dinosaurs.
So if they screw something up in the past,
no, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it was annoying with that whole aspect of it. Well, this season opens up and it starts off right there. They're in the city, they're walking down the street, and there's a T-Rex just walking behind them, and nobody cares. They're just casually walking down the street while the Tyrannosaurus Rex is behind them. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Is he like a civil Tyrannosaurus Rex or?
No, they were chasing down people, eating them.
So people do exist. Like, is it like New York but add dinosaurs?
Yeah, like with buildings and everything.
Oh, that's kind of awesome.
Yeah, it could have been, but it wasn't.
Like it sounds
and
like
they're gone, and they're gone within the first minute. Like they just get transported back to their time within the first minute. It's ridiculous, that whole aspect of it. I think they realized, oh, we screwed up at the end of last season. We got to retcon this pretty quickly this season, and they did. They fixed that pretty quickly. The whole idea of Legends this season is it looks like they're going to be the outsiders, where they're kind of there screwing shit up and fixing it at the same time. So I guess it's how they're going to go. Because like the last couple seasons was they had like a mission. Like they had a mission that they had to accomplish. This time it seems like, look, you guys are a bunch of screw ups, so we don't want you doing anything. But you know what? Go ahead and do things because you are a bunch of screw ups, but we may need you later. Like that's literally how this episode went. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't as good as it's been in the past, especially last season. So I'm interested to see where Legends of Tomorrow goes. And then, like I said, Arrow, I felt Arrow was definitely the best of the premieres.
In your opinion, isn't Arrow like the best in your opinion?
Actually, The Flash, in my opinion, has been the best for a while. Now, last season, Arrow did top The Flash. Arrow was phenomenal last year.
I know you talk a lot about, like, you praise Arrow for
it was so good last year. It's going to be hard to top last season. And they, I think they're going to be able to do it. I'm interested to see where they take everything with what happened the 5 months between the two seasons, because you have Oliver's son, his mother was killed at the final episode of last season. So he's now living with Oliver, who's Arrow, and he's trying to grasp the idea that, okay, my father, his father was almost the reason that his mother died. So, like he's struggling with that and trying to grasp that. And he's like a 10-year-old boy. So it's hard for him.
Yeah.
Even in the episode, there's a moment where he's waking up with nightmares and Oliver goes to talk to him and he's like, what's going on? And he's like, I'm afraid of the bad man. And Oliver's like, the bad man's gone. The guy who actually killed his mother, he's like, he's gone. And he goes, no, he's not. And he goes, well, who is the bad man? And he points to his father as the bad man. And that was just like, oh, that's tough. So that storyline I'm really interested in seeing, especially being a father, that kind of thing, is interesting to me. Then Team Arrow, they're kind of at odds. There's some different things going on, and we're going to find out why they are how they are. And, some of them are like have post-traumatic, disorder, PTSD and stuff like that from what happened the past 5 months. So I'm interested to see where this goes. They didn't really get the overarching villain this year in this episode, so we'll see where it goes. Where the Flash actually showed the Thinker, who is the big villain, the big bad of this season. They showed him at the end of the episode, which a lot of people thought he was what the heck's his name? I can't think. Wow, brain work.
It's all that alcohol you drank.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have drank a whole bunch of alcohol before doing this.
I'm still drinking a lot of alcohol.
But yeah, they didn't realize that it was the Thinker, and they thought he was a Superman villain and stuff like that. So kind of upsetting with that. I wish Brainiac. There we go. People thought he was Brainiac, and he's not. He's the Thinker. Very different character, but just as interesting. But with that, I am planning on doing a weekly YouTube show for the CW Universe stuff. I was going to do an episode this past week, but I ran into some computer issues where some of my USB ports on my laptop just decided to not work anymore, so I couldn't do anything with it this week. So hopefully by this Friday or Saturday, I'll have a video up talking about it, just solely about those 4 shows specifically. And I will, from time to time, have guests on there as well. So look forward to that. A couple other shows that were out this week before I get into the one that really broke my heart. Gotham this week was excellent. This was actually an episode that Ben McKenzie, who plays James Gordon, wrote. Excellent episode. Have either of you actually watched Gotham?
I've seen like 1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah, I haven't seen very much of it.
Yeah, the thing with Gotham is it's gotten better each season, which is nice. This season by far is the best season so far. I think we're only 4 episodes in, but it is possibly the best first 4 episodes of all the seasons that they've had. So Ben McKenzie wrote this episode, which I thought was really impressive because I didn't think that he was a writer. I just thought he was an actor, but he did an excellent job in it, and I thought it was a really good story. So that was Gotham. If people want, leave some comments. Let me know if you want me to talk more about Gotham as well as the CW verse on my weekly show. I will do that, especially since it's all part of DC stuff. So I might do that. If you'd like to hear that, just let me know. All right, here's a question. Is anybody out there in the world watching Inhumans? Anyone? I
kind of want to get around to watching it.
I've watched all the episodes so far, and oh my god, it's bad. It is bad.
Is it really that bad?
It's bad.
Like what's so bad? Is it the story, or is it like the execution of everything, or is it just bad as a whole?
The first 2 episodes released in IMAX about a month ago. So we covered that. Yeah, I gave the first 2 episodes a shot, and after all the poor reviews that it had, I was like, you know what? I'm going in. I'm not expecting much, and I didn't think it was that bad. Those first 2 episodes, I were like, okay, this is your typical TV show when it comes to superheroes and stuff. Why are you on your phone while we're podcasting?
Because I'm fucking promoting, so get off my dick for starters.
Oh god.
There's this hashtag.
Wait, I thought you were a refrigerator.
Whatever. Get off my electrical circuits. There's a hashtag called #podcasterbating.
Oh my god.
But the first 2 episodes of Inhumans weren't terrible. After that, they just get progressively worse and worse. The acting is subpar. The storyline is not interesting in the least. It's just not intriguing at all. The special effects, which aren't very many, and you would think that you would need a lot with a show like this, they just don't do anything where they need special effects. So it's not good. It's not the Inhumans, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm a huge Inhumans fan or I've read all the comics and stuff like that. I haven't. I've read a couple comics. I've read some things on different websites and such about the Inhumans, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think portrayed Inhumans better than Inhumans has so far, and I think that's a little disappointing. So
that sounds disappointing.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know why they can't do anything with Inhumans to make it.
So DC question.
DC, go for it.
Regarding the TV series, or the TV series plural. So if I were to start wanting to watch, any of them, do they connect? Like kind of how like Jessica Jones and Daredevil and that did, or are they just their own separate little things?
Shows on CW all connect. Okay. And there's a certain way. There's a really interesting way that you have to watch the shows so they all fit together perfectly. And it's like Arrow had its first 2 seasons before The Flash came out. So you watch the first 2 seasons of Arrow, and then starting at season 3 of Arrow, you watch the first season of Flash with that. And then the 4th season of Arrow and the 2nd season of The Flash, you have Legends of Tomorrow and Supergirl start. And that's kind of how you have to go. You have to do it a certain way because they do have crossover episodes each season where all together. So they call them the event. So like this year, they're having an event episode that's called Crisis on Earth X, which I cannot freaking wait for. We talked about it a few weeks back.
Yeah, we did.
Gonna be excellent. I can't wait for it. But that's gonna come out. That's around November, or around Thanksgiving. I think it's right after Thanksgiving, like the beginning of December is I think when that comes out. But yeah, that's kind of the way to do it. Now Gotham unfortunately doesn't connect with this universe, even though it is DC, but it's on a different network, so that's why it doesn't connect. But yeah, that's how it works.
Interesting.
I mean, I had this train of thought, but I forgot it.
Too much alcohol there, Colton.
Nope, not enough.
Not enough, maybe.
Shut up, refrigerator.
So this past Saturday,
there's not enough alcohol in me.
My favorite, my current favorite TV show.
Oh, okay. I want to ask you about this because I've never heard of it until you started talking about it.
Okay.
What is that show about?
I'll let you know. Fire?
Yes. There you go.
So yeah, my favorite show, Halt and Catch Fire, had its series finale on Saturday. It was a 2-hour finale, and I will say it was maybe one of the most satisfying series finales I've ever watched. While it hurts to say goodbye to these characters that I've really come to enjoy watching over the last 4 years, they sent everybody off in a perfect way. So, but to get to your question, what this show's about, it starts off in the early 80s during the big computer boom that happened.
Yeah.
And it starts to take place in a small company, a small computer company, where one of the characters joins and says, okay, I want to do something interesting. I want to create the first portable computer.
So
So
they're working on laptops.
They go to work on making the first laptop, but they just keep running into issues. Eventually, you know, as the series progresses, they then move to solely video games. You know, so then they have a whole video game thing, and then they go into broadband kind of service, and then they go into like a Google service and stuff like that. So it kind of moves through the years, and it goes through the 80s through the 90s of the PC world and computer world, and you kind of see.
Rachel, I'm gonna need you to calm down on loading your M4. I know that the Viet Cong are all around you, but like we're trying to talk here.
But
sorry.
Like
Just trying to pay my bills.
The background of everything that's going on is all like fact. It's all what actually
So
happened
it's all
in the
based
world.
on it's like a fictional story, but all factual.
Exactly. But you know what their characters are doing and their companies and stuff that they're doing, that's all fiction and made up for the show. But everything that's going on in the background, you know,
like
with
the overall,
Microsoft and Apple and Yahoo and stuff like that, all of that is actually real, how that all happened and exactly how it went. And they're trying to be ahead of the curve on most of the things. They're like, we need to beat this company. And eventually you find out, oh crap, this company is this company. And wow, they're big now, you know, and they were just 2 steps away from, you know, being more successful than them. So that's kind of why it's so interesting. And not just that.
Did they ever actually win though?
Watch the show.
Okay.
But
is that the series finale?
Not only that, but these characters are just so well written. Lee Pace plays probably my favorite character on the show. He actually played in Guardians of the Galaxy. He was Ronan the Destroyer in Guardians of the Galaxy, but he plays this role. I just don't get why he is not a bigger star in films and TV. He is such a good actor.
Is it because maybe he doesn't take the big roles?
That's kind of what it is. Yeah, from what I've read, he's very selective. Roles. He's very selective. Then you have Scoot McNairy. He actually played a role in Batman vs. Superman. He was the guy that had his legs cut off in the beginning of the film and then blew up in the courthouse.
Holy crap.
He plays one of the main roles in the show as well. And then you have some other characters, supporting characters that are excellent. I'm telling you, if you haven't watched the show, the first 3 seasons are on Netflix. Watch them. I'm sure within the next month or two. Hoping in the next month or two, the final season will be on Netflix because I want to watch it again.
Is there only 4 seasons?
There's only 4 seasons, man.
Yeah.
It was so underrated. It was on AMC, but I just don't think it was promoted well enough. You know, and I think that's why it ended already, but it's so good. So good. Anybody else want to talk about anything TV? Either of you watch anything that you want to talk about?
The only thing I watch is This Is Us currently.
How'd you like? I liked this past episode, because it had Sylvester Stallone in it.
I'm under.
Yeah, I did like that. Yes. I was pretty happy with that.
Having Sly in there was pretty cool, and you know he's such an awesome kind of guy in real life too. So he got to play himself, and that's and from by all accounts, everything I've ever read, that's how he is in real life. He's just a happy guy, a nice guy who is willing to, you know, make his fans happy, and that's kind of what this whole episode surrounded was about. How much you know, their dad, how much of a fan their dad was of Sylvester Stallone and everything like that. And I'm sorry, I don't remember the characters' names. Do you remember the characters' names on that show?
There's Kate, Kevin, and Randall.
All right, so Kevin is the actor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's the one that really struggles with everything that happened with his father, because we know his father died, but we just don't know how yet. And he really struggles with that, especially because it looks like they've been alluding to the fact that he is the last person to find out that his father was killed or died or whatever.
Yeah, I think Kate was the first one to find out, because she said that she had to tell her brother.
Yeah. So, you know, and he still can't grasp even how many years later it's been. You know, he can't grasp the fact that his father's dead. And after all of this whole episode where they talk about his dad and how important Sly was, and then Sly goes and talks to him and says, oh, your dad would be proud of you and stuff like that. And then he just has trouble acting because now he's thinking about his dad and he's struggling with it. I really like that aspect. I mean, that kind of stuff hits home for me because of my life, how I didn't grow up with a father, and my dad passed away when I was 4. So that kind of stuff hits home for me. And I completely get it. But this show, I really, really like the show. I just wish they didn't try to make you cry every single episode.
I know. I'm always like, oh God, I can't handle it. Just stop, please.
Yeah. But I do. I love the show. And, you know, Rachel, if you can come on anytime and talk about This Is Us with me, because I will.
I will.
I don't understand the show.
Oh, it's so good. You really have to watch it. Like the first season,
the first season
again.
Excellent, but I don't want to tell you what it's about because it gives away an awesome twist that the first episode reveals.
Oh, right.
So what you're telling me is, with my Xbox and TV in front of me right now, tone out the podcast and put on the first episode.
No.
I don't think. I honestly, Colton, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think this is going to be a show that you're going to be into.
Probably not, because I'm a stereotypical douchebag.
Yeah, and it's a very lovey-dovey,
Oh yeah, no, I just caught AIDS from it.
Every episode makes you cry almost. So like that's literally how it works. I don't think you're going to like the show.
Yeah, no, I don't have feelings. So.
All right. So this past week, I don't even remember what day it was. What day was that?
It was 1738
on the 13th. So about 3-4 days ago from when we're recording here, Fox dropped a new trailer. I'm actually going to play the trailer here for New Mutants.
Way to fill that void.
I know.
I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I want you to respond truthfully. Have you ever hurt someone? Yes. Have you ever experienced anything you'd consider abnormal? Yes. Last question. Do you know what mutants are? Did you know baby rattlesnakes are more dangerous than adult ones? They haven't learned how to control how much venom they secrete. All of you are dangerous. That's why you're here. What is this place?
This isn't a hospital. It's an haunted house.
You've been through a lot. Get some rest.
April 13th that comes out, and let me tell you, I love the fact, I absolutely love the fact that they're completely turning the superhero genre on its head.
Yeah, I love it.
And they're like, hey, we're gonna do a horror movie.
I love it.
Like, come on, like how great. Look, I'm not a big horror movie fan.
Oh, I'm a horror slut,
but
I'm excited.
I know you are.
This movie looks fantastic. They didn't need to make a mutants, and I still want to watch it. It looks that good.
Now, do you think it's going to get riddled with jump scares?
I hope not, because there are a few in the trailer. There are a few jump scares, and I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
However, jump scares were done well in it. You know, because
there wasn't even that many jump scares.
There was enough jump scares in it that it could have been annoying if it was a horrible movie. But because the movie was so good and so well made, those jump scares actually, I think, made the movie better.
I remember when we watched that, I jumped at one. I was like, son of a bitch. And you jumped at one, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Because they were both trailers.
Yeah, exactly. They're both from the trailer, and it got me off guard. It caught me and caught me off guard somehow. But Macy Williams from Game of Thrones, Fred, is in the film. She's going to be playing Wolf's Bane. And then there's a bunch of other people that I don't really know who they're playing, but Charlie Heaton is going to be in this as well. And if you don't know Charlie Heaton, he's in another big horror franchise, Stranger Things. So
speaking of that, I'm almost caught up to that. I'm halfway through the first
Really? You haven't watched it?
Well, no, keep in mind, I just renewed my Netflix and Hulu subscriptions.
You do realize that the next season comes out this Friday, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to finish it before this Friday.
Okay.
Well, mush.
Yeah, faster.
I probably won't go to bed.
I'm not going to get to watch it because I have a wedding to go to on Saturday. I work Friday, So by the time I get home Friday, I'm going to be able to watch maybe 1 or 2 episodes. Then I have a wedding to go to on Saturday. I'm not going to get to watch the season until Sunday, which sucks. So,
well, I mean, like, but you can binge it on Sunday. Though.
Yeah, I'll binge the crap out of it on Sunday, just like I did the first season. The first season I watched in one day. So
Same here.
I'm going on like combined, it'd be like 2 days.
Yeah, but New Mutants coming out in April. Can't wait. It's going to be the first. That's the first X-Men universe movie that comes out next year. Then we have Deadpool as well as X-Men Dark Phoenix. They all come out next year as well. Speaking of X-Men Dark Phoenix and Deadpool, they both just finished production yesterday or 2 days ago, whenever you're listening to this past week.
I'm a little scared about the whole Dark Phoenix thing because that is my favorite X-Men. Hopefully they don't louse it up because, yeah.
I agree. I completely agree. I'm worried they already screwed up the Dark Phoenix one time. Hopefully they don't.
Exactly.
But we're going to actually get into that later with our discussion. So,
okay.
Did you guys see the? Well, Rachel, I know you saw it. Did you see the one thing I put in the remote control this week about Stan Lee's most movie they want to remake?
Oh yeah, I did read that.
He's been saying that for years. He would love to see it for me because that's one of his favorite characters that was ever created, and he feels it's the most philosophical, I guess, is how he puts it. I agree. I would love to see Silver Surfer done right. I don't think he was done poorly in the Silver Surfer Fantastic Four movie. Galactus was done poorly in that movie. I just face, which I thought was horrible. But I think that I would love to see a Silver Surfer movie. I would actually really like to see that.
How would you do that?
I mean,
hold on before you start. Again, I know the Viet Cong are around, but your M16 does not need the BB Watch.
I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm trying to pay my bills while, discussing and keeping the cat from jumping on the keyboard, Florida life.
Hashtag raise.
I honestly don't know how I would do a Silver Surfer movie because I'm not that versed in the Silver Surfer. Like I can't sit here and talk about it. I know the character. I know where he comes from. I know who he is. That's about all I know.
Okay, so here we go. Movie boot, 2 weeks. Silver Surfer.
Surfer.
Pretty much.
Anybody have anything else on New Mutants?
Hopefully it's super new.
I'm hoping it's gonna be great. I mean, I love Macy Williams. Like, I'm hoping she never dies in Game of Thrones. If you haven't watched it, I'm sorry. Y'all need to watch Game of Thrones.
All right. So then we had a new trailer drop this morning, which I broke the news. You broke the news on Remote Control on the website, on the Facebook group, and last night they actually announced that there would be a trailer today for it. Watched it, thought it was excellent, and that's for Black Panther. I'm going to play it right now. Boom.
Oh, you mean the new Lion King live action?
I have seen gods fly. I've seen men build weapons that I couldn't even imagine. I've seen aliens drop from the sky. Yeah. But I have never seen anything like this. How much more are you hiding? Hold up. Let's go. We are home. My son, it is your time. Show me my respect and bow down. You get to decide what kind of king you are going to be. Don't freeze. I never freeze. The revolution will not be televised. Show me my respect and bow down. We own ya. We own ya. We only getting started now. Cause we own ya. Everybody think they know me now. Cause we own ya. You and I'm a homie. Cause we own ya. I waited my entire life for this. The world's gonna start over. I'ma burn it all. What happens now determines what happens to the rest of the world. You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. The revolution will not be televised. Let's have some fun.
comes out in February. Again, I think it looks fantastic.
I like the music.
The music's pretty
The
bad.
music's good, yeah.
I tell you what, Michael B. Jordan, I am so excited to see Michael B. Jordan play a villain in this movie. I think he's an excellent actor. I mean, I loved Creed. I loved what was that, Chronicle that he was Chronicle? Yeah, Chronicle that he was in. I love him as an actor. I think he's excellent. So to see him as a villain, I think is going to be excellent. This movie just looks so good. Like it really does. And every time I watch a trailer, I just get more excited about it. Now, Rachel, I know you're our go-to gal when it comes to Marvel things. So what do you think completely of this trailer?
Well, as before, I said that it kind of reminds me of Lion King a little bit, because a lot of the scenes, especially the scene with the purple sky, that reminded me of when Simba was looking for answers. You know, that scene right there just kind of hit that for me. I think
and Pumbaa somewhere in the
I'm sure there will be them characters. You know, Disney's been talking about a live action Lion King. Well, here it is. But no, seriously, it looks like a great movie. I'm actually a little bit more excited to see it now than I was prior when we got the little teaser. I think they did an amazing job. The visuals look great. So we'll see what happens.
It's interesting. I didn't know. Again, I'm not a big. Marvel is now getting into these characters. Not that they always haven't been doing this, but they're getting into these characters that I don't know much about. Like I grew up with DC Comics heavily. Like I was a big Spider-Man fan growing up.
A Spooder Man.
I liked Iron Man growing up. That kind of things. But those because that's what was on the cartoons.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of stuff I really enjoyed. So like. Doctor Strange, I wasn't too familiar with. So when I went into that movie, I didn't know what to expect. I was disappointed with it, but you know, it was interesting to see the lore and who Doctor Strange is. The same thing
they say he's quite an odd character.
The same thing's going on with the Black Panther movie. Yeah, we saw him in Civil War.
Yes.
I thought he was one of the standout characters, but we still don't know a lot about him. And now we're starting to see a little bit more with him in this movie. And you know, I didn't know that. Again, most superheroes do, but they have a villain who is basically the exact opposite of him. Now that does worry me for the more. Okay, sorry, not the exact opposite, but Michael B. Jordan's character, he has a suit that they call, I think the Jaguar, I think is what he's called, and it looks just like the Black Panther suit, but it's like yellowish and stuff like that. It looks badass. I have no idea how it works in the movie because he's standing there and it kind of just like he changes into it. It's not like a suit that he puts on, like his body morphs into it. I was like, whoa, is he a Power Ranger? But it looks cool. Looks really cool, so I'm looking forward to that. But then again, it also does worry me a little bit because you take a look at the Iron Man movies, you know, you look at Ant-Man. We get that with a lot of these origin stories or the first movies with these characters. It's almost formulaic, like it's the same thing over and over again. So I'm worried that aspect, but I am excited to see a new character that I don't know about in Black Panther.
So you're more interested for the story.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think it's going to be like the other starter movies because we've already been introduced to the Black Panther
you're
through
right.
Civil War. So I feel like it's not going to be really an origin story because we already know how he became the Black Panther.
We somewhat know how he became the Black Panther. We definitely know that it takes place after Civil War because he talked about being the king, you know, and becoming the king, leading and so on. So
do you think we'll see any other Avengers in the film?
I doubt it.
After Civil War, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw maybe Captain America or
because that's how Civil
or Black
War,
Widow or something. Yeah, because I wouldn't be surprised to see one of those two in there. I wouldn't.
I don't know if we will. I mean, I feel like it just has its own thing going on, and everybody else is kind of doing their own thing right now. I mean, you might get a glimpse of Bucky frozen, but that's about it.
I don't know, but I mean, this cast is phenomenal. Chadwick Boseman is Black Panther. Michael B. Jordan's in it. Lupita Nyong'o, Maz Kanat is in it. Danai Gurira, who plays Michonne from Walking Dead. Forrest Whitaker, who played Saw Gerrera in Star Wars.
Oh my God, Forrest Whitaker! I want him
Angela
to play
Bassett from one of those TV shows. Which one is that she plays in? Is that How to Get Away with Murder? Or
you're talking to a guy that doesn't have time to watch TV.
Andy Serkis, so you have Snoke. There's a lot of Star Wars connections here.
But
Martin Freeman, who plays on Sherlock.
Shit, what was I gonna say?
Sterling K. Brown from This Is Us. So I mean, this cast is just phenomenal.
So who plays Bucky? The actor's name, I can't think.
Sebastian Stan.
Yeah. Have you ever seen him? Have you seen the picture of him like lined
Yes,
up with
we've
Luke?
seen him. Yes.
Wait,
that
what?
Okay, don't worry, Bob.
2.5 years ago.
Bob, don't
Cole.
worry. I'll be over here fucking myself, okay?
Wait, what picture are we talking about? I cut
Don't
out.
worry, I'm fucking myself. It's too late.
There's a picture that's out that has Sebastian Stan, and they kind of just took Mark Hamill and took his hair and his outfit that
Oh yeah.
Star Wars
Right.
and put it on him, and it looks exactly the same. Yes, Colton, we've all seen that.
I can't tell you. Sorry. I'm over here fucking myself.
I love screwing with you.
I'm not calling you dad. I don't fucking care.
But Dad, tell me about the Go Boy. But Black Panther comes out February, so comic book movies are starting early this coming year, man. We got February, then we got April, then we have March, May. Who knows? There's probably a comic book movie every month next year.
Dude, speaking of, New Mutants comes out in April, right?
Yes.
We should go see it for my birthday.
Okay.
Because my birthday's April.
You don't get no birthday.
Sorry. I'm a creature that's reborn every year. I don't.
You wouldn't get no birthday.
I just become more monstrous as every year comes.
So
They're gonna be trailer folk and shrimp dogs, and you won't get to touch the blind kid.
last Monday, we had a live episode of our Star Wars Talk podcast where we sat on my couch in my apartment watching Monday Night Football. And that's all we did. Just watch Monday Night Football.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking sick.
Until,
I mean, the Vikings totally destroyed the Bears.
Until the Last Jedi trailer dropped. And let me tell you, it's pretty badass. If you haven't watched it, you need to watch it.
When I found you, I saw raw, untamed power. And beyond that, something truly special.
Something inside me has always been there. But now it's awake. And I need help.
I've seen this raw strength only once before. It didn't scare me enough then. It does now. Let the past die. Kill it. If you have to. That's the only way to become what you were meant to be. We are the spark. It'll light the fire. It'll burn the First Order down. Come on! This is not going to go the way you think. Fulfill your destiny.
I need someone to show me my place in all this.
So, yeah, no, that trailer's pretty cool. But Rachel, what did you think about it? Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did watch it. I think it looks fabulous.
Your porn screech could not have been any worse time. Like, I heard you over, like, punching it in the stomach.
You're so mean.
No, but
no, seriously, it looks amazing.
Bay was in it.
Yes.
This is going to be a little plug for Star Wars Talk this week. Comes out this
Oh,
Thursday.
yeah, this
We're gonna
Thursday.
be breaking down this trailer.
There's actually a couple new things, like the
English?
posters for it that are going to be in theaters, like the stands and
Yeah.
everything. Huge, interesting things. I'm gonna hammer you with questions, Bob.
Yeah, this week's going to be excellent for Star Wars talk. So if you love the trailer, if you want to break down the trailer with us this Thursday, we're going to have the podcast out. We're going to go scene by scene, broken down. But let me tell you, this trailer's freaking amazing.
Yeah, no, it was
My
like
God.
I ejaculated, it went back in my penis, and I ejaculated again. That's how awesome.
Damn.
Saw it twice actually.
Twice.
Oh,
We sat there for almost 2 hours after we were done recording, watching the trailer.
Okay, yeah, we watched a lot more than that. I've seen it a lot of times. Oh, it's such a good trailer. I cannot wait for it.
It's so
And,
solid. It tells you a lot, but without telling you any of the story.
True.
It's crazy.
Yeah. All
Bob,
right.
I feel like you're sober.
So now that we've gone almost an hour into the episode, we're gonna get to the core.
Oh wait,
of
before
this.
we get to the core, I know we were talking about the Funko box things before. I know we don't talk about toys too often in the podcast. Do you think $25 every other month is too much?
For like a subscription box?
Yes.
I mean, it depends on what you get with it.
Well, I don't know what comes in them, but I'm thinking
What
of
subscription box are you thinking about?
the Star Wars one. But then I'm also looking at like the Marvel and DC one. So like $75 every
I
month.
would just do like the loot crates, because whenever like something like Star Wars is coming out, they usually like jam pack it with all kinds of Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, Funko has a Star Wars box that's bi-monthly.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at, and I was like, "Oh, there's a Marvel one."
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Should I?
I don't collect enough of those. Like I have a few, but nothing crazy. So for me, it wouldn't be worth it.
Or should I do the $150 a year and that's it?
Oh Jesus!
It's your money.
Dude, don't fucking do this.
I know you spend money like crazy, so
no.
Quit it.
I
Quit
mean,
spending money.
When you break it down, I just did the math in my head. Drunk me just did math in his head.
Oh God!
It's literally the same for the annual and bi-monthly.
Probably a few dollars off.
Yeah, and but you get a free anniversary gift
there you go.
at the annual one.
Well, there you go. Get that then.
So $450 a month or $450 a year.
Sure, why not? It's your money. Do what you want.
All right, well here we go.
And all right, so the main question of the day, like I said earlier in the episode, the beginning of the episode, is source material important when it comes to comic book films? Now, I broke this down into 4 sections of source material because there's 4 things that people often complain about when it comes to comic book films, and these 4 things are costumes, the origins of the characters themselves, not just the origin, but then how the character is portrayed, and then finally the surrounding universe, so the world that they are living in. Those are the 4 things I broke it down into. I want to start with costumes because it's kind of the lowest thing on the totem pole there that we talk about, but I do want to say this. It's always hard to properly adapt a superhero costume from comic to screen. I mean, you take a look at the early iterations of certain characters like Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man back from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. They were anything but practical, and they were, especially in a real-world setting. I mean, they would spandex, like that's all they wore. You take a look at Adam West, you take a look at Christopher Reeve, and I don't remember who played the Spider-Man in the TV show in the 80s or 70s, whenever that was, but it just didn't look good, so it was hard to make them practical. Now in the late 80s, even into the 90s, we started to see these costumes change a bit. You saw with the Batman, Tim Burton's Batman in 1989, it was not the spandex anymore. It was a hardened plastic or hardened rubber suit that he wore. And then you see going into later into the 90s, you see things like Blade, where he just wore leather, and again, it was more comic book accurate than not, but that's kind of what he did. Getting into the 2000s though, then we had the X-Men and Daredevil and the Fantastic Four films that were just god awful when it came to costumes.
Yeah.
But where we sit now, I think we've kind of found a nice area for perfect balance of practicality as faithfulness to the material. But you do still find those who complain about it. Now, what do you guys think about costumes over the years? How important is it that a comic book character, have a faithful look to the comics onto screen?
Well, personally for me, I feel like the costumes, like, they are a big part of the character because that's what they're known for, like the specific costume that you see in the comic books. But I kind of like the idea of an upgrade or adaptation to it. Like, I'm not opposed to it, but I feel like it should still have some elements of the original.
See, I like what you said there, Rachel. I really did. But no, I'm not gonna be a dick about it. No, I really did like it. I think like if in the case if you're going to do an origin story, it like Homecoming, for example, how his suit was basically just a hoodie. Like, yeah. Like if the origin story could be like how it was in the comic, like the original. And then, like, you see the practicality and how it was, like, basic, and then it slowly advances throughout the films.
Right.
Like, you know, my mic does not want to stay straight.
That's what she said. Maybe you're just not straight.
Jesus Christ. But I'm okay with that. Like, if the origin story, the beginning, before he like, you know, gets his rise, or the superhero gets their rise, it be that impractical, and then it just gets more practical as it goes and more advanced.
So, okay, I'm going to stick with the Spider-Man thing, but not Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm going to go back to 2002 for Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, the first one.
Oh.
All right. Now, that was a very interesting thing because in that movie, you saw Peter Parker do the hoodie thing when he went into the wrestling ring against the fake Macho Man, who was really Macho Man.
Oh, yeah.
Bonesaw is what his name was.
Oh, yeah.
Bonesaw.
I'll go give her one in the pink, yeah. And
oh, God.
Think.
You need to calm down.
But when he fought Bonesaw there, he was in that hoodie outfit, you know, and then it progressed, and then he finally got this way too far advanced suit that he had in the movie, which you kind of just forgot about because it was very comic book accurate. It looked very well. Now, there are certain characters that I feel you need to have that look. And the reason why I said that, and it's kind of funny because I have these two figures sitting on my desk right in front of me that I'm about to talk about.
Which ones?
Spider-Man here makes complete sense. You need to have him have the red and blue. You need him to have the spider crest on his chest. The way it looks from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man to the Mark Webb Spider-Mans to the now Homecoming ones, the Marvel Spider-Mans, they all have the blue and red, but they're all slightly different. You know, so the spider crest is a little bigger or smaller on them. You know, the Homecoming Spider-Man, his eyes actually were mechanical moved. Actually, his suit was all basically it was an Iron Man suit, just Spider-Man. Yeah, that's essentially what it was. So it's very interesting how they've done, but they've kept the core, the blue and red. Now, this other figure that I'm looking at on my desk is of Wolverine. And it's very interesting because when the X-Men movies came out back in 2000, Bryan Singer had a tough time to figure out how to properly costume these characters because everybody loved the late 80s, early 90s X-Men TV show. Excellent show. And people, as myself, as a child, I looked at the X-Men and I was like, those are the outfits they should be wearing. Mm-hmm. You know, especially Wolverine with his yellow and blue and black, like that's what he should be wearing. But we didn't see that in the movie because he made it a little more practical for real world, grounded it a little bit, because you're not going to see these people walking around in costumes all the time like you did in cartoons or comics. No, Bryan Singer made them these battle suits. These are what you get put in before you go to battle. Now, not only that, but they did change it up a little bit. They made them these leather suits that, again, the leather was kind of tough. Leather was being overdone at one point in comic book movies. However, I don't think it was bad. Yeah, I do want to see Wolverine at some point because we've still never seen him in the yellow, blue, and black. We've never seen that in a comic book movie yet. I want to see it. But again, you got to sit there and think, how practical is that? How practical is it to see that uniform or that outfit in a comic book movie? But then you go on the flip side, how practical is it to see a man in an iron suit? You know, how practical is it to see the God of Thunder coming down from Asgard? So it's all about how they create these film universes and build from there, I think is how it works.
So before we move on here, I'm going to talk about something that's a little off track, but kind of on track.
Oh, God.
Do you think Marvel will ever get the rights to the Fantastic Four?
Don't know.
Because if so, they could make an amazing crossover with Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four. Because I just looked this up because I knew this was happening. And Spider-Man is part of the Fantastic Four for a little bit. Yeah. And he's called the Amazing Bagman. And he is literally no shoes, got some gloves on, you know, the blue Fantastic Four thing. And he has a paper bag on his head.
Yeah.
On his head. and we need to see that in a theater.
Oh my.
So I mean, anybody else? I mean, costumes. Like I said, I think people complain too much about them.
Yeah, that's something that's so minor compared to everything
when I
else.
look at these films, take a look at here. I'm going to talk about DC here because we just talked a lot about Marvel. Take a look.
Well, hang on. I want to say one more thing about costumes. Like,
go ahead.
Like the whole Dark Phoenix. If they are going to make another movie or whatever they're doing with it, I hope to God they do get her costume right. I did not like her one that they already did. I don't even remember which one that was because I hated the X-Men movies. But for her, because she is my favorite character, her costume should be on point. Okay.
Okay.
On point.
Okay.
Just had to get that out there.
Homecoming ended it with the alluding to like this Iron Spider suit.
Yes.
Do you think we'll see it?
He's going to have it in Infinity War.
But do you think we'll see the mechanical spider arms come out of the back of it? And
I think
whatnot?
so. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That'd be badass.
Yeah, I know we see it because in that leaked trailer that came from SDCC, San Diego Comic Con, you see it in there. So he does wear it. So,
but like